Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back at events which took place on this day throughout history. So today is January the 1st, 2024, so we're going to have a look back at 112 historical events which took place on this day, going all the way back to 154 BC. But starting with the first event, which took place last year in 2023, Croatia officially adopts the euro, becoming the 20th Eurozone country and becomes the 27th member of the Schengen area. 7 years ago in 2017, an attack on a nightclub in Istanbul, Turkey, during New Year's celebrations kills at least 39 people and injures more than 60 others. 9 years ago in 2015, the Eurasian Economic Union comes into effect, creating a political and economic union between Russia, Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. 11 years ago in 2013, at least 60 people are killed and 200 injured in a stampede after celebrations at Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. 13 years ago in 2011, a bomb explodes as Coptic Christians in Alexandria, Egypt, leave a New Year's service, killing 23 people. 13 years ago in 2011, Estonia officially adopts the euro currency and becomes the 17th Eurozone country. 14 years ago in 2010, a suicide car bomber detonates at a volleyball tournament in Lakai Mawat, Pakistan, killing 105 and injuring 100 more. 15 years ago in 2009, 66 people die in a nightclub fire in Bangkok, Thailand. 17 years ago in 2007, both Bulgaria and Romania joined the EU. 17 years ago in 2007, Adam Air Flight 574 breaks apart in mid-air and crashes near the Makassar Strait, Indonesia, killing all 102 people on board. 20 years ago in 2004, in a vote of confidence, General Pervez Musharraf wins 658 out of 1,170 votes in the Electoral College of Pakistan and, according to Article 41(8) of the Constitution of Pakistan, is deemed to be elected to the office of President until October 2007. 23 years ago in 2001, Greece adopts the euro. 25 years ago in 1999, the euro currency is introduced in 11 member nations of the European Union, with the exception of the United Kingdom, Denmark, Greece and Sweden. 26 years ago in 1998, following a currency reform, Russia begins to circulate new rubles to stem inflation and promote confidence. 26 years ago in 1998, Argentinian physicist Juan Maldacena published a landmark paper initiating the study of ADS-CFT correspondence, which links string theory and quantum gravity. 29 years ago in 1995, the World Trade Organization comes into being. 29 years ago in 1995, the Draupner wave in the North Sea in Norway is detected, confirming the existence of freak waves. 29 years ago in 1995, Austria, Finland and Sweden join the European Union. 30 years ago in 1994, the Zapatista Army of National Liberation initiates 12 days of armed conflict in the Mexican state of Chiapas. 30 years ago in 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, comes into effect. 31 years ago in 1993, the dissolution of Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia is divided into the Czech Republic and Slovak Republic. 34 years ago in 1990, David Dinkins is sworn in as New York's first black mayor. 35 years ago in 1989, the Montreal Protocol comes into force, stopping the use of chemicals contributing to ozone depletion. 36 years ago in 1988, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America comes into existence, creating the largest Lutheran denomination in the United States. 37 years ago in 1987, the Isleta Pueblo tribe elect Verna Williamson to be their first female governor. 39 years ago in 1985, the first British mobile phone call, should I say, is made by Michael Harrison to his father, Sir Ernest Harrison, chairman of Vodafone. 40 years ago in 1984, the original American Telephone and Telegraph Company is divested of its 22 Bell system companies as a result of the settlement of the 1974 United States Department of Justice antitrust suit against AT&T. 40 years ago, in 1984, Brunei becomes independent of the United Kingdom. 41 years ago, in 1983, the ARPANET officially changes to using TCP/IP, the Internet Protocol, effectively creating the Internet. 42 years ago, in 1982, Peruvian Javier Pérez de Cuellar becomes the first Latin American to hold the title of Secretary General of the United Nations. 43 years ago in 1981, Greece is admitted into the European Community. 45 years ago, in 1979, the joint communiqué on the establishment of diplomatic relations and the Taiwan Relations Act enter into force. Through the communiqué, the United States establishes normal diplomatic relations with China. Through the act, the United States guarantees military support for Taiwan. 46 years ago in 1978, Air India Flight 855, a Boeing 747, crashes into the Arabian Sea off the coast of Bombay, India, due to an instrument failure, spatial disorientation, and pilot error, killing all 213 people on board. 48 years ago in 1976, a bomb explodes on board Middle East Airlines Flight 438 over Casamua, Saudi Arabia, killing all 81 people on board. 51 years ago, 1973, Denmark, Ireland and the United Kingdom are admitted into the European Economic Community. 53 years ago in 1971, cigarette advertisements are banned on American television. 54 years ago in 1970, the defined beginning of Unix time at 000000. 59 years ago in 1965, the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan is founded in Kabul, Afghanistan. 60 years ago in 1964, the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland is divided into the independent republics of Zambia and Malawi and the British-controlled Rhodesia. 62 years ago in 1962, Western Samoa achieves independence from New Zealand. Its name is changed to the independent state of Western Samoa. 64 years ago in 1960, Cameroon achieves independence from France and the United Kingdom. 65 years ago in 1959, Cuban Revolution, Fulgencio Batista, dictator of Cuba, is overthrown by Fidel Castro's forces. 66 years ago in 1958, the European Economic Community is established. 67 years ago in 1957, Georgetown, Penang is made a city by a royal charter of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. 67 years ago in 1957, lèse-majesté in Thailand is strengthened to include insult and changed to a crime against national security after the Thai Criminal Code of 1956 went into effect, 6/18. 68 years ago in 1956, Sudan achieves independence from Egypt and the United Kingdom. 75 years ago in 1949, the United Nations ceasefire takes effect in Kashmir from 1 minute before midnight. War between India and Pakistan stops accordingly. 76 years ago in 1948, the British railway network is nationalised to form British Railways. 77 years ago in 1947, the American and British occupation zones in Allied occupied Germany after World War II merged to form the Bi-Zone, which later, with the French zone, become part of West Germany. 77 years ago in 1947, the Canadian Citizenship Act of 1946 comes into effect, converting British subjects into Canadian citizens. Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King becomes the first Canadian citizen. 79 years ago in 1945, the German Luftwaffe launches Operation Bodenplatte, a massive but failed attempt to knock out Allied air power in Northern Europe in a single blow. 82 years ago in 1942, the Declaration by United Nations is signed by 26 nations. 90 years ago in 1934, Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay becomes a United States federal prison. 90 years ago in 1934, also, a law for the prevention of genetically diseased offspring comes into effect in Nazi Germany. 92 years ago in 1932, the United States Post Office Department issues a set of 12 stamps commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. 95 years ago in 1929, the former municipalities of Point Grey, British Columbia and South Vancouver, British Columbia are amalgamated into Vancouver. 96 years ago in 1928, Boris Bazanov defects for Iran. He is the only assistant of Joseph Stalin's secretariat to have defected from the Eastern Bloc. 97 years ago in 1927, a new Mexican oil legislation goes into effect, leading to the formal outbreak of the Cristero War. 101 years ago in 1923, Britain's railways are grouped into the Big Four: LNER, GWR, SR and LMS. 110 years ago in 1914, the SPT airboat line becomes the world's first scheduled airline to use a winged aircraft. 112 years ago in 1912, the Republic of China is established. 114 years ago, in 1910, Captain David Beatty is promoted to Rear Admiral and becomes the youngest admiral in the Royal Navy, except for royal family members, since Horatio Nelson. In 1902, 122 years ago, the first American college football bowl game, the Rose Bowl between Michigan and Stanford, is held in Pasadena, California. 123 years ago in 1901, the Southern Nigeria Protectorate is established within the British Empire. Also, in 1901, the British colonies of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania and Western Australia federate as a Commonwealth of Australia. Edmund Barton is appointed the first Prime Minister. 124 years ago in 1900, Nigeria becomes British Protectorate with Frederick Lugard as High Commissioner. 125 years ago in 1899, Spanish rule ends in Cuba. 126 years ago in 1898, New York annexes land from surrounding counties, creating a city of Greater New York. The four initial boroughs, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens and the Bronx, are joined on January the 25th by Staten Island to create the modern city of 5 boroughs. 132 years ago in 1892, Ellis Island begins processing immigrants into the United States. In 1890, 134 years ago, Eritrea is consolidated into a colony by the Italian government. 139 years ago in 1885, 25 nations adopt Stanford Fleming's proposal for standard time and also time zones. 147 years ago in 1877, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom is proclaimed Empress of India. 161 years ago in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation takes effect in Confederate territory. And 163 years ago in 1861, liberal forces supporting Benito Juarez enter Mexico City. 164 years ago in 1860, the first Polish stamp is issued, replacing the Russian stamps previously in use. 177 years ago in 1847, the world's first Mercy Hospital is founded in Pittsburgh, the United States, by a group of Sisters of Mercy from Ireland. The name will go on to grace over 30 major hospitals throughout the world. 179 years ago in 1845, the Philippines began in sync with Asian dates by redrawing the international date line through skipping Tuesday, December the 31st, 1844. Ordered by Governor-General Narciso Claveria, reforming the country calendar to align with the rest of Asia. Its territory was one day behind for 323 years since the arrival of Ferdinand Magellan in the Philippines on March 16, 1521. 190 years ago in 1834, most of Germany forms the Zollverein customs union, the first such union between sovereign states. So 202 years ago, in 1822, the Greek Constitution of 1822 is adopted by the First National Assembly at Epidaurus. 214 years ago in 1810, Major General Lachlan Macquarie officially becomes Governor of New South Wales even. 216 years ago in 1808, the United States bans the importation of slaves. 218 years ago in 1806, the French Republican calendar is abolished. 220 years ago in 1804, French rule ends in Haiti. Haiti becomes the first black majority republic and second independent country in North America after the United States. 223 years ago in 1801, the legislative union of Kingdom of Great Britain and Kingdom of Ireland is completed, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland is proclaimed. 223 years ago in 1801, Ceres, the largest first known object in the asteroid belt, is discovered by Giuseppe Piazzi. 236 years ago in 1788, the first edition of the Times of London, previously the Daily Universal Register, is published. 243 years ago, American Revolutionary War, 1,500 soldiers of the 6th Pennsylvania Regiment under General Anthony Wayne's command rebel against the Continental Army's winter camp in Morristown, New Jersey, in the Pennsylvania Line Mutiny of 1781. 248 years ago, 1776, Norfolk, Virginia is burned by combined Royal Navy and Continental Army action. 248 years ago in 1776, General George Washington hoists the first United States flag, the Grand Union flag, at Prospect Hill. 251 years ago in 1773, the hymn that became known as Amazing Grace, then titled 1 Chronicles 17:16 through 17, Faith's Review and Expectation, is first used to accompany a sermon led by John Newton at the town of Olney, Buckinghamshire, England. 252 years ago in 1772, The first traveller's cheques, which could be used in 90 European cities, are issued by the London Credit Exchange Company. 285 years ago, in 1739, Bouvet Island, the world's remotest island, is discovered by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Charles Bouvet de Lozier. 317 years ago, in 1707, John V is proclaimed King of Portugal and the Algarves in Lisbon. 324 years ago, in 1700, Russia begins using the Anno Domini era instead of the Anno Mundi era of the Byzantine Empire. 373 years ago, in 1651, Charles II is crowned King of Scotland at Scone Palace. 420 years ago, in 1604, the Masque of Indian and China Knights is performed by courtiers of James VI and I at Hampton Court. 424 years ago, Scotland recognises January the 1st as the start of the year instead of March the 25th. And that was the year 1600, sorry. 497 years ago, in 1527, Croatian nobles elect Ferdinand I, Archduke of Austria, as King of Croatia in the 1527 election in Cetin. 509 years ago, in 1515, 20-year-old Francis, Duke of Brittany, succeeds to the French throne following the death of his father-in-law, Louis XII. 522 years ago, in 1502, the present-day location of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is first explored by the Portuguese. 524 years ago, in 1500, Portuguese explorer Pedro Álvares Cabral discovers the coast of Brazil. 586 years ago, Alba II of Habsburg is crowned King of Hungary. 765 years ago, in 1259, Michael VIII Palaiologos is proclaimed co-emperor of the Empire of Nicaea with his ward John IV Lascaris. 956 years ago, in 1068, Romanos IV Diogenes marries Eudokia Macrembolitissa and is crowned Byzantine Emperor. 1023 years ago, in the year 1001, Grand Prince Stephen I of Hungary is named the first King of Hungary by Pope Sylvester II. Probable. 1077 years ago, in 947, Emperor Taizong of the Khitan-led Lao dynasty captures Dalang, ending the dynasty and empire of the later Jin. 1607 years ago, in the year 417, Emperor Honorius forces Galla Placidia into marriage to Constantius, his famous general, Magister Militum. Probable. 1620 years ago, in the year 404, Saint Telemachus tries to stop a gladiatorial fight in the Roman amphitheatre and is stoned to death by the crowd. This act impresses the Christian Emperor Honorius, who issues a historic ban on gladiatorial fights. 1831 years ago, in the year 193, the Senate chooses Pertinax against his will to succeed Commodus as Roman Emperor. 2066 years ago, in the year 43 BC, the Roman Senate posthumously deifies Julius Caesar. And 2069 years ago, in the year 46 BC, the Julian calendar takes effect as the civil calendar of the Roman Empire, establishing January the 1st as a new date of the new year. And 2177 years ago, in 154 BC, For the first time, Roman consuls begin their year in office on the 1st of January. Okay, so that's all we have for today, Monday the 1st of January 2024. I hope you found some of that interesting and that you found the video relaxing, and I also hope to see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.